Hi, my name is Nellie Ellis, and I'm a Chief Blueprint Ambassador for Kentucky Youth Advocates. But today I'm here to talk to you about one of my absolute favorite days of the year, which is CAD, Children's Advocacy Day. Now, this day began in 2004 as an effort to unite voices from across the state of all ages together as one. Now, every year, hundreds of advocates show up at Frankfurt's Rotunda to rally on behalf of kids. At this rally, the main goal is to show your support for the overall well-being of Kentucky's youth and to show your support for the policies found on Kentucky's Blueprint for Kids. CAD is so important because, like it or not, the kids in our state have to face a lot of problems, and many of them either are helpless in their situation or don't know what to do in their situation. So it's our job to be a voice for those who are voiceless. And you can do this by advocating at CAD. Now, this might be just showing up and saying, yes, they have my support. I care about Kentucky's kids. Or you can even take that a step further and go speak to a legislator about an important bill that stands out to you. Any way that you decide to take this on is helpful, because it shows the people who are in charge that there is a large group who genuinely care about Kentucky's kids. And they will keep that in mind when they start voting on policies.
Thanks, Nellie. I'm Jessie Whittish with Kentucky Youth Advocates. We are so grateful for Nellie's support at Children's Advocacy Day and the support of the hundreds of youth who have attended Children's Advocacy Day in the past. Those of you watching this webinar may be attending Children's Advocacy Day for the first time, or you may be an experienced advocate. Either way, we're so glad that you are joining us on February 13th. So why is Children's Advocacy Day so important? Why all this buzz? Well, the big thing is that we know that numbers matter. When it comes to the General Assembly, when it comes to legislators, there are a lot of competing priorities, a lot of people trying to get their attention. And when legislators see numbers like the hundreds of advocates and the hundreds of youth that care about kids filling the rotunda and meeting with them in the annex, they realize that these issues affecting kids carry weight. We really use Children's Advocacy Day to ask legislators and decision makers to prioritize kids. And while it's important for advocates, it's probably most important for legislators to hear from youth like you. Your voices carry a lot of weight in Frankfurt, sometimes more than just, these adults who are speaking for young people. They really want to hear from the young people themselves. So we're going to do a quick overview of the Children's Advocacy Day agenda. If you're coming with a group, you may have some other activities here, but here is the general schedule. So it's a pretty full day. At 9:30, material pickup begins on the Capitol mezzanine. So you can pick up your Children's Advocacy Day lanyard and badges. You'll also have a folder which includes fact sheets about policy priorities. It includes a map of the Capitol, some office numbers for legislators. A lot of different materials are in that folder. So you can pick those up there on the mezzanine. Also on the mezzanine, beginning at 9:30, are some advocacy information stations. So you can stop by one of those stations to learn more about the policy priorities, kind of the priority bills that we're hoping you'll talk with your legislators about and get some tips for meeting with a legislator. At 11 o'clock is the Rally for Kentucky Kids that is in the Rotunda. We'll have speakers, there'll be cheers, so we hope that you are cheering loudly. We'll hand out some awards. Right now, leadership from the Senate and the House and the governor are confirmed to speak. That's subject to change, and even more important than all of that, some Kentucky youth are scheduled to speak as well. At 10 and 12, there are some legislative committee meetings, and if you've never been to one of those can be really good for kind of seeing how the legislative process works. At 1 o'clock, there is a youth reception on the Capitol mezzanine, and all Kentucky youth are welcome to attend that. So it's a good opportunity to network with legislators, and youth will be presenting awards to other youth and also presenting awards to legislators. At 2 o'clock, if you are able to get gallery passes, you can watch the House or the Senate in session. And then all day, we encourage you to stop by the Children's Advocacy Day social media station on the mezzanine. We'll talk a little bit more about that in another segment, but social media is a really important part of advocacy. So what do you need to do before February 13th so that you are ready for Children's Advocacy Day? So you want to register. You can either do that as an individual or you may have registered as a group. Follow Kentucky Youth Advocates on social media and use these hashtags. Again, we'll talk more about that in another segment. Learn about the Blueprint for Kentucky's Children policy priorities. We'll talk about that in another segment. You can also see that online. And then check on the status of those bills and other bills that are good for kids on the bill tracker that is already up and running. So you can go to our website at kyouth.org to see that. And then find out who your legislator is and what committees they serve on. We'll talk about this in another segment, but there's a couple different places you can go to find out who your legislator is. So on Children's Advocacy Day, what is it that you really need to be doing? And the primary thing is just showing up for kids. Again, having numbers and hearing from you, all that is just really important. So be really visible. Be an advocate on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all of that. And then make connections and, make connections with legislators, make connections with other advocates, make connections with other youth across Kentucky. It's a really good opportunity to kind of connect with others who are working on policy changes that are good for kids.
So if you're a youth and you're planning on attending CAD, maybe you're excited because you get out of school. But that shouldn't be the only reason that you're excited, because CAD is super fun. It's not something that's just dull and drab at the Capitol. It's a rally. It's meant to be exciting. We're going to have posters, cheers, chants. I remember when I went freshman year for the first time, I was overwhelmed by all the people showing their support and all the smiles on their faces and the emotion on their face. You could tell that people genuinely cared. And you're there for a reason. You're not just there to miss school. You're there because you are doing something important for others. And there's nothing like that experience.